hear me?
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas and I have been collaborating on what is missing in somebody's training that needs to make their training complete. All of you who are doctors know how to diagnose and treat disease. You are very skilled at that. But do you know how to run your personal life? Do you know how to run your financial life? I had a chance to talk with someone in the audience here who shared with me that she looked at her financial statement and found that it was only a small percentage of what she was hoping to get. Can you imagine if your financial statement shows that you're not even able to keep up with inflation? How in the world are you going to comfortably retire? And so we're here to show you and to fill in a gap that all of you have that will make you a more complete and better doctor. If we could show you that in, let's say, an hour, would that be considered an hour well worth your time? Yes? No? Would that be considered a good accomplishment? Yes or no? Well, if we could do that, that would be magical, because it is possible for us to share with you in a very short period of time what each of you can do to make yourself a more complete and comprehensive physician and get better control over your personal life, your finances, and make you a better doctor. These are the reasons why we have trouble with balance in our lives. We have spent a lot of time in our training. We often will work 60 or 70 plus hours a week. We take our work home with us. We're never off, and we don't recharge our batteries. I want to go through with you very quickly in 15 to 17 minutes 10 ideas that will help you balance your personal and your professional life. I have written an article on the 10 suggestions for balancing your personal and professional life. I have left it out at the desk right next to the red and white wine, so you won't have any trouble finding it, and I'd like you all to avail yourselves of the article, or you can write to me. I'll give you my email address at the end. Number one, you're always a student. You are never done learning, no matter what your level of training is. I've been in practice 35 years, and I'm still learning. And that's why we call it the practice of medicine. You're always learning, you're always trying to get better. So, you need to reach out of your comfort zone. You need to reach out of doing things just the way the status quo said you were supposed to do when you were training, and try things that are different. Idea number 2, be ethical. Don't ever be afraid to make a decision for your patient that would be on the front page of the Times-Picayune newspaper, or you would be embarrassed to have it on 60 Minutes. Always think of your patient first. The bottom line on ethics: do every single day just what's right and what's in the best interest of the patient. Number 3, set your priorities between God, family, and practice. I'm not particularly a religious man. I'm not religious at all. But I do place a lot of emphasis on my family. I think this is a terrific book. It was written 10 or 15 years ago. I think every person in healthcare today should read Rabbi Kushner's book on when bad things happen to good people. Not why bad things happen to good people, but Well, only God knows that. But when bad things happen to good people, and what did Rabbi Kushner find out? He said, in all my years as a rabbi, he said he never found a man, and I'm filling in the blank, a doctor on his or her deathbed who said, I wish I would have just seen one more patient, did one more transplant, did one more HENT examination. He never found a man who said it. What did they say? They said, I would just rather spend a few more hours, a few more days with my family and friends. Number 4, avoid burnout. One of the ways that we can get burned out in medicine is we take on too many obligations and too many responsibilities and we don't know how to say no. I have worked out with my wife, and I had a tremendous difficulty. By the way, we're talking about balance. I am not standing in front of you telling you I got balance. I'm standing in front of you telling you I think I know what it takes to get balance, and I'm a work in progress, and I'm trying to achieve balance. But my wife and I worked out 3 questions that I ask every time I'm asked to take on an extracurricular responsibility. 1, will the obligation enhance my career? Will the commitment, number 2, will it take time away from my family and friends? And number 3, will this obligation lead to better balance or imbalance in my life? It is not a sin to say no. It's going to be very difficult when you're a young physician starting out to learn how to say no and not take on more responsibilities and learn to put balance into your life. Number 5, make a difference. You need to make a difference in this world, including your family, friends, and other obligations, not just in your medical practice, what you get paid for. There's a wonderful poem called The Dash by Linda Ellis. And in that poem, she talks about the day you were born, a few people showed up at your birth. The day you die, the only people that the difference on the size of your funeral, it depends on the weather. So what happens between the day you were born and the day you die on your tombstone is a dash. What did you do with your dash? What difference did you make? And you need to start out very early on deciding what kind of a difference are you going to make in your life. And I want to spend very little time talking about finances because we have leading experts here who are going to talk more about finances. But I want to emphasize to you that you are it's never too early to start saving and learning the discipline of saving. The take-home message is, don't just assume because you have a significant net worth that is related to your self-worth. They're entirely different, and don't make the assumption that they are the same. So achieving balances in your life is more important than learning to balance your checkbook. That's part of it, but there's more to life than that. Number 7 are, who do you hang around with? I highly recommend that if you're middle-aged, you find older people with wisdom and listen to them and meet with them on a regular basis. If you're middle-aged, hang out with younger people. They have the energy, the enthusiasm, and the creativity, and you should have friends in both arenas. Be a mentor. Share with what you have and pay it forward. Try to find little things that you can do that will make a big difference by helping somebody else. I love this saying. I just added this to my talk. And it says, if you want to be happy for an hour, take a nap. If you want to be happy for a day, go fishing. If you want to be happy for a year, if you're lucky, win the lottery. If you want to be happy for a lifetime. Find ways that you can help someone. Pay it forward. It makes all the difference in the world in your self-esteem and confidence. Give it away. If you have a service and someone needs your assistance and can't afford it, and I'm not just talking about medicine, I'm talking about your time, your energy, and it doesn't always have to be money, but give it away. You've got so much. Your future is so bright. And I hope every day that you will be excited about waking up in the morning because you have the opportunity to be a doctor. The greatest profession in America and worldwide is to be a physician. It breaks my heart to go to a doctor's lounge and sit and have lunch with my colleagues and hear them say bad things about medicine and say that they would never enter the profession again, or say that they wouldn't have their children enter the profession of medicine. I can tell you, I have loved being a doctor. I wake up every morning. When I go to work, I'm excited and enthused about being there. My children are in other areas of other professions, but if they wanted to be a doctor, their daddy would still recommend it. Have fun. You know, we far too often take ourselves far too seriously. I say, let us have a good time. Medicine is an enjoyable profession, and it can be even more enjoyable if we make it fun and exciting. These are some things that I do. I try to send out humorous fact sheets to let people know I'm not taking myself seriously. Throughout my office, I have many cartoons and quotes and humor. Above every exam table, there's a sign that says, "Smile, you're on candid camera." Why? Because I want people to have a good experience in the doctor's office. It doesn't have to be painful and uncomfortable. 10 plus, I'm going to give you 2 extra suggestions. Get moving. Walk your talk. Would you go to a doctor like you if the doctor was obese and his fingers were yellow from smoking cigarettes and he had alcohol on his breath? Of course not. And so you have to ask the question, would you go to a doctor like yourself? And we have to walk our talk and practice exactly what we preach. One idea that it makes it so easy to do is to get a Fitbit. Do 10,000 steps a day, and you will see how healthy you can be and what an example you can be to your patients. Developed outside interest. William Osler, famous American English physician who moved to America, and I think he taught at Johns Hopkins, said, the young doctor should look for an avocation or a pastime that will take him away from patients' pills and potions. So what we have to do is we have to learn to grow, not just as a physician, but to grow as an individual and a person. So my final advice to you is that you need to start right exactly where you are. Regardless of your station, training, mid-career, end of career, you still need to place and put balance in your life. Let me go through this because I have something else I want to do. So, my final advice from my favorite doctor of all time. My favorite doctor is Dr. Seuss. And what did Dr. Seuss said? So be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. And you will succeed. Yes, you will indeed. 99 and 44, 100% guaranteed. I think that's from the Lorax. And I think Dr. Seuss provided great advice that still works today. This is a reprint that I have left in the back, and you are welcome to a copy of my art. article. I highly recommend. My wife would particularly appreciate if you buy copies of our book. The book was just come out in January, and Dr. Thomas and I are extraordinarily proud of this publication. We have worked very hard to include everything a young doctor needs to know to move forward, to make themselves successful, not only in the practice of medicine, but in the balance in their lives. Do I have 1 more minute? 1 minute? Am I on time, on budget? I don't normally like to do this in front of other people, but I happen to be very, very comfortable in this position here as a speaker, and particularly talking about this subject that is so near and dear to me, and that is balance. So if nobody would mind, I would like to floss my teeth. Any objections back there? Anybody upset? Mary?
No.
Doesn't bother you?
Go for it.
Anybody here a flosser? Anybody a flosser? Mary's a flosser. Lady there, you're a flosser. Share with me if you're flossing your teeth and you sometimes get a little piece at the end. What do you do with that little piece?
Trash.
Trash! Oh my goodness, no, no, no. These pieces need to be saved. You save these pieces. I had 3 children, and it was difficult for me to get them to save these little pieces. But I waited till we got 8 to 10 of these little pieces. And because after we got 8 to 10 of the little pieces, and they were waxed, I could roll them up, and I could roll them into a little ball. Now, I don't know if you can see from back there, but you're going to trust me that I have rolled up the pieces into a little ball. Can you see it? Trust me. That's the little pieces into the ball. And now, I'm going to get that little piece to stick on one of the pieces. So 7 pieces there, 6 pieces there. Now, if I say the magic words, balance, finances, and practice growth, I can tell you that there are amazing, magical things in store for each and every one of you. It has been a pleasure to have a chance to speak with you. I'm looking forward to the next speakers. And I think you are going to find that this is going to be one of the greatest hours that you will ever spend if you take the message that we are giving you and take it back and put it into your lives. You will be better doctors, but more important, you will be better people. Thank you all.